I'm ready whenever you are, Jessica.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to you did it. You did it this time. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the podcast. You shush.
Keep it going. Keep it going. It doesn't matter.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the podcast, the show where we talk about all the poggers things in life, like YouTube, content creation, video games, with a heavy focus on the first-person shooter Escape from Tarkov. I am one of your co-hosts, Jessekazam, a YouTube content creator, streamer, YouTuber.
And I'm Veritas, the guy who fucks up the intro to the podcast every other podcast. When Jessekazam,
yeah.
Is that what? Okay, yeah. When she doesn't screw it up, and then we're here with one of my fucking homies, one of the most handsome guys named Markstrom on this panel. Markstrom, hey buddy, how's it going?
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
What's going on?
Thank you
It's
so
our
much
pleasure.
for coming on. Seriously, we really appreciate it.
It's good to be here. I'm excited, man. When Very reached out, I was super stoked.
Awesome. I
Yeah,
think
you've always been on our short list of like the first couple folks that we wanted to have on here. So
yeah,
Cool. What episode is this, if you don't mind me asking?
24.
24. Although you
You're
fucked up the thumbnail, bud.
I
of
did.
The last one. It was 20. It was like episode 20.
No, I think I changed it on YouTube, but I put it in the actual.
Yo, I didn't mean to cause a rift. Or
No,
anything.
I didn't think you noticed, Veritas. I didn't think you noticed.
We have to start. This is episode 1.
Yeah,
We have to delete.
0 days since last incident. We're starting over. Man,
Yep.
I didn't think you noticed. I wasn't gonna say anything.
I don't give a fuck, but you know.
But yeah, Mark, thank you so much. I mean, you're as somebody that's relatively newer to the scene of like streaming and even Tarkov, like you were one that I picked up very early on. You and Deadly were both, because I'd go to work and I would have an extra monitor. So once I got into the Tarkov scene, got into like loving the game and playing, you guys streamed during that time slot for me. So I always had one of you guys up. So I've been watching for a really long time and have always respected how you run your community and just the atmosphere of the whole thing. So it's a pleasure having you on the show. I'd love to like really quickly just I listened to the Slobcast all the way back in the day with the episode with you on it, and it was really cool to hear a little bit about like your story and how it wasn't just like, I'm gonna stream Tarkov and maybe do this for a living, you know what I mean? And to see so if anybody wants to watch that, the Slobcast in its entirety is just an awesome podcast. But maybe like the TLDR version of like how this was kind of a really out of left field thing compared to what you were pursuing.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. Thank you for tuning in, and I appreciate the kind words.
Yep.
Yeah, man, it definitely was not what I planned on doing with my life. I will tell you that. I've been streaming full time now for 5 years now, which is wild to say.
That's crazy.
But that's also like from the very beginning. Super fortunate. Pretty much started out and was just kind of full time by default. Yeah, I guess the TLDR on my story is I was attending the University of Florida, and I was on track for medical school, and I got a double major, one in biology and one in Russian. And I pray to God I never have to use either of those for the rest of my life. So assuming all goes well, I never want to look at any of that material again.
Oh, geez.
No, I liked it. I enjoyed it. So I knocked that out in 4 years, and then I kind of got stuck in the city where the university was because I hadn't taken the MCAT yet because I didn't have time with the dual majors. So I was sitting around and I was studying for the MCAT like 6 months, 1 year after the fact, and then the med school process, the application process to get in. For those that don't know, sorry, in the United States, the MCAT is the medical college admissions test, and super comprehensive.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like the worst.
Yeah, it's horrific.
Multiple choice, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
If only.
Just true false.
Yeah, it was a struggle, man. I mean, like 10, 12 hours a day in the library minimum every single day for a really long time.
Jeez.
And then that was on top of, I was doing part-time in a biomedical research lab and a neurology lab, and loved that. Really enjoyed what we were working on. Some really cool stuff. Nerve grafting studies and novel treatment methods for a disease called neurofibromatosis. So that was cool. I enjoyed all of that. It was a really great experience, but that's also where I learned I don't like working with other people. So I'm very fortunate these days to be able to choose who I work with. If that makes sense. So, so anyway, so I'm working in this lab. I take the MCAT. I do well. I do med school interviews and stuff. So my research lab shuts down. Unfortunately, basically, it's a weird thing. It's a very scary thing just being a scientist is very scary because basically the way that it works is you have a PI, a primary investigator that runs the lab, and they're in charge of acquiring funding for the lab. Basically, they write all the proposals for the grants. And most PIs, a lot of PIs are older because you get to that point in your career and then you're that guy. So by default, a lot of them are always on like the edge of retiring. And they're not always like the most keen to try to be like making sure that their lab stays open. So unfortunately, that is what happened to us. Lab closed down for the most part, like down to like a skeleton crew. And so me being, the pleb in the lab, I definitely lost my job, including a couple of like PhDs. So it's like, it's a scary thing. Like working as hard as you have to work to acquire a PhD in neurology and then just lose your job because some dude doesn't write up.
Just like done. Scary.
So that closed down. I didn't have any work. I had saved a little bit of money working there, which was nice, and still partially supported by my parents at that point as well. I end up getting into a biomedical master's program. I could have done that for 1 year, but I started streaming in the meantime. And the reason I started streaming was because all my friends had been gone from university. They all went on to whatever, master's program or law school or anything like that. And I just didn't have anybody to game with.
Yeah.
So I really missed the feeling of like couch co-op games. I had never played anything like Fallout before. And I really wanted to do Fallout New Vegas. And I'd also never modded a game. So I thought to myself, like, all right, I kind of want company while I play. And I also want some information on how to make sure everything works the right way. So I was like, I'll just stream it. Shit, I've watched people on, on all the way back to Justin TV. I've always watched gaming on the computer, and I can figure that out. I know that much. Let me just try this. And it ended up being super hype. Like the idea that people would come back for multiple streams for something as silly as like a 2-viewer Fallout New Vegas broadcast blew my mind.
Yeah.
That was wild. So I ended up streaming DayZ. And after that, the rest is history. I basically had this decision to make, like, hey, do I go do this thing or do I try to do this? And honestly, the Steam, it was chugging. It was chugging. Like the train was on the tracks and we were moving. And I was like, all right, I guess I'm not looking back. And we actually have a viewer here in the chat. One of my very first viewers. He found me with 4 viewers on DayZ standalone.
Dang.
Now, this year coming up, he's going to be the best man at my wedding. So,
whoa, that's amazing.
As an aside, him and his brother actually ended up being a couple of my best friends now. So, again, that was 5 years ago.
That's incredible. Wow.
Yeah, it's I definitely didn't plan on doing this. It just I don't know. I feel like I got super lucky. Like the first grouping of people, including him, in the channel really came to shape the way that I run things. And it really shaped that community that you mentioned that you see today, which I find is pretty unique. And, they just continue to bring in more like-minded individuals, and it's been great. So super fortunate and obviously love what I do.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy how it was just like a combination of like timing on like
big time timing.
With what was going on with your job, not only, and then timing on Twitch and what was going on there, and you hopping on DayZ, and then that little stroke of luck of just like the right people coming in, and you being able to kind of the synergy of like with the right people in, you guys can cultivate a good community. Because I definitely find that I agree with what you're saying, where it's like a small group of the right people attracts more of the right people.
Yep.
And a small group of the wrong people attracts more of the wrong people. So it's it's cool that you were able to like right from the get kind of start that long-term process.
And I find like the right and wrong people is different for everybody on Twitch, obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
And the kind of broadcast that you want to host.
Absolutely.
So I think all you can do is like try to be excited, try to formulate your community or mold your community in a way where you're going to be excited to wake up the next day and see those people.
Yeah.
Because again, it goes back to like picking your coworkers, picking your viewers is kind of the same thing. You know what I mean? Like you want to be stoked. And
yeah,
I'm happy to say that 5 years later, I'm still stoked to get up and talk to those people. So it's a good thing, man.
That's sick. So you started with primarily like DayZ, you were saying? So we did the Fallout, but DayZ was the first like, I'm going to do this game.
I kind of recognized it. Well, it was what I watched the most on Twitch at the time.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of Mr. Blackout, Anthony Kungpun,
Nice.
Jam Jar, all those guys, all those old DayZ veterans. And, I thought to myself, well, why don't I stream the game that I'm playing the most right now, obviously? And, I also kind of recognized it as being one of those games where it's almost the perfect opportunity to hone your skills as a broadcaster and figure out how to have conversation and how to have that running stream of consciousness. Because I'm sure, as you know, you play DayZ, you end up with a lot of dead time, a lot of dead air, a lot of dead time. If you're running around, like there's some hype moments and like around waiting for those hype moments to happen. But then after that happens, you got 2-3 hours of running.
That's crazy.
And so
I've still never played. I've never played DayZ.
Me either.
Yeah, that's for the best. Let's leave it at that.
I can watch Smoke. I can watch Smoke play DayZ all day.
It's one of those games, and that's another big part of it was that it's a game that is more fun to watch than it is to play.
Dude,
it's simple. And sometimes Tarkov is very much so in the same vein.
Tarkov, definitely teeters on that line for sure. But DayZ,
you don't say.
But DayZ for sure. Like I've watched a ton of it. I feel like I have a basic understanding of how it works. DayZ is such an interesting game because, and we don't have to talk about DayZ forever, but it's such an interesting game because like there's like eras of DayZ, and depending on who you talk to, you get such a different experience. Like, you know what I mean?
Sure.
I've heard, you and Deadly Slob talk about some of the memories of old school DayZ, stuff like that make me feel like, oh my God, like that's the time of their lives they had in DayZ. And then there's a whole epic of like the bad times and it's just crazy to me that you still have people like just now getting into it or just now getting excited about it. Like Summit, when G tweeted out like 2 days ago, he was like, DayZ's finally an S tier game. And then of course it blew up, but it was just like, regardless of how you feel about DayZ, it was interesting that a guy as big as Summit, even now, how many years later of playing DayZ, is like, getting into it and getting hype. It definitely has something that no other game has.
It does. And I think that's just unique player interaction. I think that's like the driving force of DayZ standalone. And I think it's the same reason that would make VoIP really good in Escape from Tarkov. I know there's a lot of bad that comes with VoIP, but I feel like with the right kind of community, with the survival shooter community, it thrives 99.9% of the time.
Interesting.
And there's a lot of memories that get created through that make it so that it's not the same firefight in the same location again, right? You have a whole nother dynamic layer on top, and that's the VoIP. And I don't know, I think that's what makes DayZ special. Obviously, that has the risk reward factor that people love in Tarkov, and it's like multiplied 10x because you die in DayZ, you die
in real life.
Yeah, basically. Honestly, like I'm sure this is still the case, but if you're on a long run and you die, like that's kind of the end of your stream potentially. You know what I mean? Because it's like, all right, well, I guess we'll end it there for the day.
Yeah, because you don't want to start up a whole nother character and then have to leave in an hour or two. That's really interesting. I had never considered that. Well,
yeah, it's funny because like you see Summit's tweet and like the game really hasn't changed at all. like the base game hasn't changed in the last 2 years, not really. Obviously I keep tabs on it pretty closely.
Yeah.
The modding community has done a pretty good job at making it a more complete experience and something that's a little bit more rewarding with more content. I don't really subscribe to the idea that Bohemia left in a good spot for modders to begin with. So they're left with a lot of they're handcuffed to an extent as to what they can do. But there are some cool servers out there that are good for a good time.
Yeah.
But like it's just always been one of those games where you jump on and it's a % chance you're going to have a great experience. It's always a % chance. There's no guarantee. You know what I mean? But when that happens, like that's what you play for.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting game dynamic, no doubt about it.
So when and how was the transition from maining DayZ to Tarkov, or was there maybe something in between, or did you hop right over?
Yeah, I mained PUBG for a year in between.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was a day one PUBG partner, and as soon as that launched, I was gone from DayZ. Like the minute it launched, I played DayZ until I got partner on Twitch, and that was like definitely the plan.
Yeah,
is like I'm gonna keep doing this until we're there. And then PUBG launched, and I was super excited because the lead developer at the time of DayZ was Brian Hicks, who introduced me to Brendan, who is PlayerUnknown. And so I kind of knew about PUBG pretty well in advance of things, and I kind of had an in for that, which was cool, and it was neat to see like the excitement behind this like secret project that they're developing in Korea. Like it was cool. It was really neat. So I was really excited for the game, and then I did like the alpha and the beta, and like things were starting to pop off. I was like, okay, this is gonna be it. So it was good while it lasted. I think I learned a very valuable lesson about games where you spend so much time focusing on the game. I really had to work hard to balance the community building that I had already done with a game that required like all of your attention always until the end. You know what I mean? There wasn't a whole lot of that downtime. So that was a weird transition. I was so used to just being able to like free flow and talk with chat. And I think that's still why like anyone who's tuned in knows I spend like 80% of my day chatting.
Yeah.
20% maybe gaming. But I like it that way.
Yeah.
I do. And, I know that that's not everyone's cup of tea, but it's what I enjoy.
Yeah.
And it's not what you enjoy, then why do it, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so I like the PUBG thing was cool. I did that for a year. And then when Tarkov came out, like January 2017, I started playing it.
Ooh. So that was like right at the beginning, right as it went public, the public beta?
Yeah.
Or around that time?
It was around that time. I remember trying to like play or trying to get my NDA lifted so hard for so long. Never happened. So what are you going to do?
Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise I probably would have switched sooner.
Interesting.
I did a lot of like custom games on PUBG though. That was cool. And then I did a lot of shoutcasting for PUBG.
Oh, that's
which
dope.
was another kind of side project that I really enjoyed. I worked with like this company called PUBG Online. So every Monday on the front page of Twitch, actually, I got to do like shoutcasting, which was tight. I enjoyed it a lot.
That's sick.
Yeah, Veritas, you did a similar thing, right? You went PUBG first. Like you mained PUBG first, right? Before Tarkov?
Well, no. I started streaming with Tarkov, but I started content creation with PUBG.
That's right.
Just because it was actually funny. I was just talking to a friend of mine. He's actually my old boss. He's awesome dude. Wicked dad gamer, although he doesn't have any kids, but he's just like an older guy, and he's just fucking awesome. And we'd play PUBG, and it was funny because I used to put all my videos up on Facebook, so I still like the once a month I get on Facebook, usually to like message somebody from college or like my dad or something. I see like the 7 years ago today, and it's always a video like a 26-minute edit of me playing PUBG that has 4 views on Facebook. And it's like, holy shit, like all these videos. Gosh. I've got dozens of them on Facebook, and they're all private.
Were you editing them back then?
Yeah, that was 2, 3, maybe about 3 years ago.
Nice.
But I mean, yeah, it was just I'd use replay buffer to record highlights and edit together. It was really simple edits. But yeah, and it's funny because his girlfriend now is like, every now and then we'll pull up one of these old videos on Facebook and she'll watch it. And she basically said that like on our team on PUBG, his role was to just follow me around and say like, "Oh, awesome, dude!" He'd always just I kill like a squad of 4, and he'd be standing there without a gun in his hands. I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I don't know, dude." Like
he was the
like,
hype man. I love it.
Such a shit show. Oh my god! But yeah, PUBG back in the day, I loved it. I need to give it a try again. I haven't played it in forever.
I bought PUBG and I never ended up playing it because the very first computer game really that I like invested time into was Tarkov, and so which was an awful first computer game to ever play. But I remember like I got my computer set up and I bought PUBG and I downloaded it, but I was playing Tarkov a little bit and I just got consumed with Tarkov and I literally never played a match of PUBG ever.
Yeah, the only thing that I hear about PUBG these days is Break tweeting out about cheaters. And that's it. So that's all. That's literally all I see. I don't know if that's the best sign. Just a lot
cheaters in an online game. You don't say.
Wait a minute. Imagine.
Do they have labs in PUBG? Did they? I know they added new maps. Did they put labs?
Not an awful idea.
Oh my gosh.
Might as well.
So you transitioned from PUBG to Tarkov. I guess I'd love to hear I love talking to people that have been playing Tarkov for a really, really long time. How is your perception of the game where it stands now? Because we talk all the time on the podcast about how like there have been important moments in the game's history. I've been playing for just over 2 years, so I came at 0.9, end of 0.9. There have been some pretty fundamental shifts in the game, but like 2020 was the Mount Everest. The 0.12 last year was immediately followed up by the drops event this year, and we're talking like hundreds of thousands of new accounts, and that's brought challenges. That's brought like really cool aspects as well. Seeing, you know what I mean, talking about hearing Nikita say that he never expected to go to Twitch.tv and see Tarkov in the #1 spot. Like that's cool stuff, but the game has it's changed so much. So I'd love to hear like how your enjoyment of the game has like grown, diminished, just changed. Like how have you been feeling about Tarkov recently?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think like with any game that you play every single day for an extended period of time, I think it is always going to grind on you to an extent. So you have to, I think that is an important framework for my thoughts and feelings towards the game right now. I've never played a game as much as I played Tark and didn't feel this way about the game. So I think it probably has more to do with that. But ultimately, I have played Tarkov. Maybe I've streamed Tarkov maybe 6 times in the last 3 months. One of which was today, where I could only play for 2 hours before I switched. So, I mean, I hate to say that.
Yeah.
Because I still think Tarkov is a game where you can really jump in there and have a wonderful experience and really feel great about the kills that you're getting.
Mm-hmm.
However, right now, the game has never been less consistent for server performance, hit reg, and just the ultimate overall experience.
Yeah.
You are even just putting hackers aside.
Yeah.
I think that it's never been worse in those regards. And for me, than the kind of player that I am, and I think what I enjoy playing a game for, the reasons I enjoy playing a game is because I enjoy a challenge, but a challenge that is consistent in a way where I can feel good about working hard and getting better and then seeing those results. And I did see that in Tarkov for a very long time, to get to a point where I thought all right, I'm playing at one of the highest levels. I feel great about my day to day. And as some of these issues continue to compound, that is just non-existent anymore. Like it just doesn't provide that same consistent, enjoyable atmosphere that I want to be able to share with my community, right? A, I want to be in a good mood. B, I want to have gameplay that's like fun for them to watch. Yeah. And right now, Tarkov is incapable of providing that in a consistent fashion. There's still really good, like there's days that can be great.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of that, like, I think that's pretty unanimous across the board. I don't think that I'm an outlier by any means. I definitely see that when I look at the category lately. It's not exactly in the one slot currently. But I think we'll put it like that.
Yeah.
But there's a reason for that. And of course that like also makes you feel a little bit better, like, all right. But I also know the population's severely diminished currently. Everyone feels it, you know what I mean? It's frustrating, but at the same time it's been great because ultimately, like, my channel has done really well on almost pure variety, and that's not something that I would have attempted or wanted to attempt otherwise. So it's kind of been a blessing in disguise, and I've never had more fun on stream on a day-to-day basis, and I don't think I've ever provided better content on a day-to-day basis than I do currently. And that's awesome. Something that I never would have been able to like say or feel or even attempt without Tarkov kind of having this lull. So
I feel like I definitely want to touch on the variety side of things
Sure.
in a little bit, but I do want. I thought that like there was a voice inside my
Dude,
head saying the things that I've been thinking. It's like, because honestly, I haven't heard anybody say what you said, but I've been feeling it so strongly, and I feel lately like I'm almost like the only one. So I started to think like maybe I'm just like not washed up, but like maybe I'm just bad at Tarkov, because I used to have an 80% survival rate and my win streaks were 30 games long, and now I can't win fights. I shoot people 9 times and I don't do 200 damage to them, but I die one shot every time. I can't get in like a 1v4 used to be so exciting for me. I'm like, yes, like this is going to be so sick because you can shoot, move, heal, move. Now it's just I'm dead. And so it's interesting that it's always hard for me to look at something like hit reg and say that it's hit reg, because I know how misleading Tarkov is in terms of what it shows you on screen when you're shooting people, as well as what it shows you after the fact. If it says 8 hits, is that 8 hits server side or 8 hits client side? Right. You know, did I actually hit the guy at all? Or, you know, so like what makes you think that the inconsistency, which is a perfect way of explaining it, is it just feels like
it feels down to, really, it's consistency. Because if you look at like, you shouldn't have to be trying to figure out if something that it's telling you is server side or client side. You shouldn't even have to know what the fuck that means. You just shouldn't. Like, no player should have to understand that to be able to comprehend and play better in the game. Because if they have to understand that, then that's the developer's fault. It's simple as that, in my opinion.
And that's why I've been enjoying playing Valorant so much. I know that like the Tarkov community hates Valorant. I know it. I get it. Okay, that's fine. But I've never once felt like I could blame the game for anything. And it's my fucking fault. It's me and my team.
You hate yourself for it, but it's great.
And it's frustrating, but in a different way, because there's nothing worse. Remember when you died in Call of Duty 4 back in the day, and it was because like lag? Like, you hate dying to lag more than you hate dying because somebody beat you, because you feel like something was taken from you, you know, as opposed to earned by somebody else. So yeah, I mean, I'm 100% with you in the. I feel like I've lost agency in the game. Like, I can make all the right decisions and do the right things, and still, I'm no more likely to win a fight more, you know.
Different game. And honestly, like, a lot of that variety, I think, helps a new player enjoy it. And when I say variety, I mean inconsistency. But you know what I mean? I think like that allows for new players to win fights. So I don't even think like from a bringing in new consumers perspective, I don't think that it's not even like a prudent financial priority for Battle State Games to make it more consistent, because ultimately it leads for a better experience for a new player who like might win that roll of the dice, but ultimately that's what it is.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be. Right, that's a really interesting point on, so like my whole kind of like existence, especially on YouTube, is surrounded around like new player stuff, guides, strategies, and stuff like that. And
I see a lot of it.
And thank you, I appreciate that. And things, it's interesting because I'm hearing you guys talk about that, and it makes so much sense. And I totally experience it too. But it's interesting to see where it's like, man, these videos are doing well. There's a lot of new players still in the game. So that, like, you just kind of blew my mind when you said that, where it's like it ends up being a net positive for newer players because they win the roll of the dice sometimes. And so it's funny because it's really easy. Like if you die to a guy camping in a corner with a Makarov 10 times in one night, it's easy to call all 10 of them, door campers. But most likely 8 of them are just, they've played 7 raids in Tarkov and they're scared. And so when they win that roll of the dice and pull the Alton in the Slick or whatever it is, you know what I mean?
That
they're
they'll
like,
never use.
oh,
That they'll
that's
never use.
sick. Oh, for sure. But
Because
I wouldn't
dash forever, right?
But that's just a really interesting point. How like some of these things ending up not I don't want to say benefiting them, but have a chance for that dice roll to go in their favor, which may keep them coming back. But it's definitely hard. Yeah, it's definitely hard for people who, because that is the thing. Like my whole, the reason why I'm just like powering through the game is like, I want to get better. You know what I mean? I'm always analyzing my gameplay. I every time I die, I pull up the clip. We pull up the clip. And it is definitely discouraging when you pull up the clip and you're like, I can't explain that. When, you know what I mean? When I can be like, oh, I didn't see a guy that was over there. I was out of position. I should have done this. But when there was the other day, man, we were watching the clip back and I knew where he was. You could tell with the audio, I was holding the tightest angle possible so that I couldn't get hit from any other way. There was one direction I could get shot from. I had engaged with this guy prior, so I didn't think he was cheating. I didn't see him speed hacking, and I just died. And I was like, oh, chat. So we pulled up the clip and I just died. He never appeared on my screen. And so we were like, all right, well, we'll close that one. There's nothing we can learn. Yeah, exactly. We'll move on. And then chat's like, oh, cheater. And I'm like, no. Like, I just legitimately think he saw me on his end. He just peeked it and was like, oh, there's a guy there.
Those packets never got to you, bud.
Never got to me.
They got lost in the mail.
So it's hard because like, I'm like, okay, some of these times there's nothing I can pull from this. We did it right. Yeah. We close the clip, we move on. You know what I mean? But it's hard.
I legitimately stopped pulling up clips. Like that's a thing. Like we don't. Well, I used to be the guy that watched back every single clip. Let's figure out what could I have done differently on this death. I don't want to make an excuse for why I died. I want to figure it out so that I can improve. Like that has always been my mantra playing Escape from Tarkov. But after spending maybe like a year looking at clips that don't make sense at all, like anybody, listen, any of the hundreds of people here, can you tell me what happened here in a way that makes sense? Like that could mean that I could have done something differently.
Yeah. Good.
Like, it's disheartening. It's
good.
Very disheartening. Yeah. And that's ultimately like, that's the meme that it comes down to, because there's no explanation, and it's frustrating. It's super frustrating. And like, I would rather not know. I'm at a point where I say GG.
Yeah.
GG next.
Yeah.
And that's it, because a lot of my gaming, or a lot of my channel, is really like, the game is happening. There's funny moments. There's good moments. But I'm just hosting like a 8-hour podcast all day.
Yeah. And I love that. I love that attitude, because like, and this can be part of what I guess transitions us into talking about like the variety stuff, but it's so interesting to like see. So once again, I'm less than 2 years into streaming, and the first, 14 months is to like 3 people. It's definitely a really long. So I definitely feel new to this world, but it's so interesting to see like we're in a weird spot where like Tarkov feels this way. Everybody kind of feels it. that doesn't mean necessarily that anybody hates the project or wants it to die. But when people start moving on to other things, it's just some weird stuff happens, you know what I mean? And it's like, you know, people, you know, X streamers playing X game, and it's like, why does that concern me? Like, that's a good thing, right? Because if they're super frustrated at Tarkov and you show up to their stream for Tarkov, they're not going to be entertaining. So why isn't that a good thing? Why isn't that to be celebrated that they're, you know, moving on to doing something else? Like, I totally get wanting to see your favorite person play your favorite game, but it's an interesting thing because we're kind of in that zone where, like you were saying, the directory kind of shifts around a lot. But I always think that's such a good thing, like, because that's, at the end of the day, video games, big video games, it's just about having fun. So like, we should all just be doing that. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's interesting stuff. But for content creators like yourself or Veritas or me, like, there's of course more to it than that, right? It's like, you can't go from playing X game to several hundred viewers to X game for 3 viewers if you're, you know, wanting to support your family. So I know that that's a whole aspect of it too, but I don't know.
You gotta time it perfectly so that you have a week where you have like a 24-hour stream with 110,000 average viewers, and then the next couple of days is when you just finally have enough of the game because you push through it for the 110,000 viewers, and then after that you can't stand it, and then you switch to another game for the first time in your entire career, and you go from 110,000 to 143, and everybody's like, "What happened, dude?
What happened?"
Timing.
Geez. Timing. It's perfect timing.
I'm lucky. Yeah.
But did you feel like when you started to feel that way about Tarkov and you started to branch out and do other things, how was that experience for you? I guess twofold question for you personally, making that first jump to another game, but then for your community as well. I mean, you kind of mentioned the result earlier. You've been having more fun than ever, but what was that experience like when you were first transitioning over?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's definitely not like my first foray into variety.
Yeah.
Like, the thing is having played DayZ and then PUBG and then Escape from Tarkov, I'm no stranger to like periods of the game just being bad.
Yeah.
Like, I've always had bad periods where it's just like the game is not fun to play and it's not fun to watch.
Yeah.
So like, I wouldn't say it's my first foray. It's definitely my most serious. It's definite, but I've always had like I guess I've always done things where, like, even when I did DayZ only, like, Dark Souls was a huge part of my channel, and we would do that for like fun drinking streams, and I would do drinking Dark Souls. So the more you drink, the more you die, the more you die, the more you drink, kind of thing. Which was great.
Is there no equilibrium where, like with beer pong, where I gotta be like,
no,
really drunk but not wasted, and I'm fucking on? It's not like that with Dark Souls. Okay.
It's not like that at all. No, it's literally just your reaction time based a lot of the time. You know what I mean? So like that's diminishing always. Yeah, it's like you have like a few attempts on a boss, and then you know that if you can't beat the curve, so to speak,
then
you're gonna be on that boss for like the next 6 hours.
It's like slap the face, focus up. If I don't do this right now, it's all downhill.
Too hammered, yeah. And then you gotta figure out when you gotta end stream. It gets ugly sometimes. But that kind of transitioned into what I do now, which is Fuckboy Friday.
Yes.
First Friday every month we have media sharing, because we always had like song requests back in the day with the Drinking Dark Souls.
Yeah.
So now we do like media sharing, and we do, you know, I make a drinking game out of whatever game we play.
Yeah,
it's not always a porn game. Last month we did Jump King. Tomorrow is Fuckboy Friday. So I'm slowly but surely gearing up my liver for that. But we might jump back into Jump King again tomorrow because it's just so good.
Yeah.
But like it's really easy to like, I don't know. That mechanic is great. So I guess what I'm saying is that I've always had events on the stream where we play other things. We also do movie time where we do single player games, right? Like I can beat this game in like 12 hours. So either I do it all in one go or we do like 2 days. And I would play that after my main game and then bang out a story game. And so I've always done that. It's never been just this, only this, ever this.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah. So it has made this easier, but I think what's made it the easiest is making the focus of the broadcast not the game. It's always been the case.
Man.
So they're not there for the game. And if you're not playing the game, it's not a big deal. And, you know, and a lot of people, trust me, especially the Tarkov community, love you guys. But for them, it's about the game.
Yeah.
Like 90% of them, it's about the game. And if you're not about the game, then that's not going to be their stream. You know what I mean? They want to see you play it. You take 2 minutes in between raids, they start freaking out, dude. Like, where's my gameplay?
They get mad that they can't watch the loading screens.
Oh yeah.
When I pull the guitar out, they're like, "Where's my fucking loading screen? Hey, put the guitar away."
If the game's not on the screen, they're having a connection.
Yeah.
So,
and I think that goes back to games that maybe suffer from that, or are the games that have a larger audience of people that like to watch but maybe not play. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because then they find that whole experience enjoyable. I feel like somebody that no life's Tarkov, whether you stream or not, isn't the guy in chat going, "Where's my loading screen?" Because he's like, whatever. But it's the guy who's maybe never played Tarkov, but watched a few 100 or 1,000 hours of it, that they're like, "I want it. Give me the whole experience. Give it to me. Give it to me." So, which is...
Yeah, it's supplemental for them. So they need it all. Yeah. No, I understand. But yeah, so I don't know. For me, it's never been about the game. So I definitely put off those viewers. I've always have. They've always been mad at me. I'm sorry. I'm sure they're great people. But that's okay. But yeah, so that's really what made this transition a lot easier. So we've been playing all kinds of different things. Like one of the biggest things we've been playing lately is UFC. That came out. That's been a lot of fun.
I was watching that the other day. I used to love Fight Night. It was one of my favorite games. And ever since Fight Night, maybe round 2, I don't know, I think there was a third one, but it just wasn't the same. I don't remember what the details were. Maybe it was okay. I don't know. I haven't ever had a game that felt as good as Fight Night did. Is it anything like Fight Night?
It is. It definitely is. I played Fight Night. It was great. This feels very similar in like the boxing realm of the game. It's very... I haven't played a UFC since UFC 1. And this is UFC 4. So skipping a couple, I don't really know like what jumps they made, but 1 to 4 has been sick. I'm really enjoying it. 1 to 4 has been great progress. Good job, guys. Yeah, thank you. But yeah, the game's really fun. My only gripe about the game right now is that the ground game is not super fun to play. The jiu-jitsu. And the thing is like I've done mixed martial arts my whole life. So like I'm extra into this.
I was about to say, because you have like real life experience with that, right?
Yeah, and it's very awkward. I don't blame them at all. I don't think there's a good way to do it. I couldn't theory craft a way that would make the ground game in a video game good. It's not possible. You're trying to simulate like literal physical chess, and there's just no good way to do it. So like
they should have called me. They should have called me. I'm an expert at being sort of on the ground, awkwardly trying to push. That's my shit. That's my shit. I can make that less awkward.
I feel like you'd have a great flying armbar, no doubt. Based on the moves that I just watched, you would have a great flying armbar.
They named it. They named it after me. That was my original name. Was the flying armbar? Was my original handle before. Never mind. Before all this, a long time ago.
Every single submission in the game takes over a minute, and that is like the most weird, awkward thing of all time because submissions happen almost instantly. All the time, or like within 15 seconds.
You mean like in real life?
Yeah, in real life.
Yeah, because it's like I'm completely fine. Oh my god, I'm dead. Like, stop. You know, like it doesn't take much to make it. You think you're gonna fucking break something.
It's very strange. So like you have to go through like all the steps of the move, and each one is like 15 seconds, and you're just playing this like really awkward mini game the whole time, where you have to like. Okay, they move their stick left, I have to move left. They move right, I got to move right and keep my little like bar on top of their bar. And I don't know. It's very unfulfilling. That being said, the game's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I don't mean to trash talk it. It's really good. If you ever play it, just make sure you play like a boxer or a kickboxer and you'll have a great time because the physics are stupid funny. I scored a knockout with my Doodly Sloob character.
Dude, that was watching you make Doodly Sloob was so great.
So good. The Doodly Sloob is really good.
Oh my god, I need the VOD. I'm pulling the VOD up and I'm bookmarking it.
There's a YouTube video from the Deadly Sleep. It's in like the last like maybe week we put out videos. So
and Deadly came in. He was like, "Make me fat, make me fat."
It's like this Deadly Slob literally just lost like 60 pounds.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say I've been seeing. I haven't been to his stream in a while because my schedule is totally different. But I've been watching a few of his YouTube videos, like the one where he did Flight Sim, which was gold. And I was like, damn, he's looking good.
Yeah,
he's lost a lot of weight. It's awesome.
Fuck yeah, Deadly.
So you were like, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it, buddy.
I'm not making you fat, bro. You're in, like, listen, you've done all this hard work. This is a UFC character I'm making. Like, you're gonna be fucking, you're gonna be a fridge.
Butterbean.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's not quite Butterbean.
That's a trunk.
He looked good, and maybe minus like the moose antler tattoo that I have coming out of his pants. On the front of the belly. And he also has tuna and script down his spine on his back.
Well, that's perfect. That should inspire a real tattoo.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Maybe sub goal.
Imagine.
Nation.
Imagine, bro. I would support.
This fucking thumbnail. He's fucking ripped, dude. It's just Deadly Slob with like a 9-pack.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So he's a heavyweight boxer. So he's just literally has lead fists, and we just swing on people all day. It's awesome.
That's incredible.
It's been a good time.
That's cool. It's cool to see. It's cool to hear that you're enjoying the game so much. Are there any has there been any other projects, like gaming projects, that have got you pretty hype? I mean, I know hype in the gaming world is always rough because you never know. But is there anything coming down the pipeline? I saw you checked out like New World, which was a game that came out of nowhere for me because I've never played an MMO outside of like the first person MMOs they tried to put on console, like Destiny and Division and stuff like that. But I've never played an MMO, and then so I had no like news of it coming, and then one day everybody was playing it, and I was like, and then now that the beta's over, I would or it's like over tomorrow or whatever, I would love to get into it, but it's too late for me. But I saw you hop in there for a little bit. Like, is there anything on the horizon that's got you like pretty excited?
So I checked out New World originally in like 2018.
Whoa, really?
Yeah. So I'm like one of their like founder partners or whatever that, they all have programs.
Yeah.
No, it was they were at TwitchCon one year. I set a meet with them, and it was great. The game was not good then. It was not, not like what it is right now. They've made such insane progress and strides. And I will say, like, it's definitely shallow currently based on the preview for content, especially endgame content. But I will say it's by far like the best bone structure of any game that I've seen in a really long time in the MMO or in the MMO world, specifically in that genre. Like, it runs flawlessly. It's
say it runs,
but just period.
First bullet point on the box.
That beats runs these days. Yeah,
it has graphics.
Yeah.
It does.
Plural.
No, they're beautiful. Like, it's a stunning game, and it has a unique combat system. It's more like Dark Soulsy, where you attack, block, or dodge, and then you have 3 weapons, and then you have these skill trees where you pick your moves from the skill trees as you level up the weapons, and then you swap between the weapons to basically press your attacks. So there's a lot of like rock paper scissors like in there, which is fun.
Yeah.
This beats that, but that beats this, and then you have to switch, and it's all about timing, and then you also have to aim all your attacks. It's not a tab targeting system like a lot of MMOs are, where you just hit tab and then you hit like 6, 5, 3.
Yeah.
You shot the person up, and then you cast Shadow Bolt 6, 7, 8 times in a row. It's not like that. It's a little bit different. But in that vein, I love MMOs. Obviously, I think my nerd is oozing out of me or something right now. But I love MMOs. I've been playing since I've Star Wars Galaxies, Vanilla WoW. I played to no end. So, I'm always excited for like the next big MMO. I've tried literally everyone between then and now, and they've all sucked. So
really,
it's probably like one of the most frustrating genres currently for most people.
I just want Diablo 2 remastered.
That is coming, is it not? I thought it was.
I keep seeing articles that I can't tell if they're like onion fucking articles or it's because there's like an article that's like they're coming out with it next year. And it was like 2016. So I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea if it's like.
That's cool though. I mean, it's like, yeah, if you're gonna get something right in a preview, get the fundamentals. Like, I think that's kind of what you were saying. Is like, that's cool.
They don't have another beta until like spring, yeah. So they have forever to actually add stuff, and they seem to know that that's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
Based on a lot of the feedback I've gotten from like their partners and stuff. So
it definitely got me excited because I always felt like that was just like a big slice of gaming that I missed. I remember like asking my mom like for World of Warcraft and it being like, wait, the game isn't just $50. You pay for that monthly? Like, get out of here. And I was like, no, like, so I never played WoW. I never played, I mean, any of the other ones, even like Guild Wars or anything. I played a little bit of like RuneScape on my freaking laptop that I had in high school, but I always feel like I missed that. So ever since I've like really devoted myself to gaming and then switching to PC gaming and getting into that, like I've been kind of trying to keep tabs on stuff like that. And then New World popped up and it definitely looks cool. Like you were saying, the graphics look really cool. It looks like it runs really well. I like the way the combat system looks. It just feels, I don't know, maybe it feels like a MMO that's accessible to people that have never played an MMO before. It appears that way to me. Yeah. So it got me excited, and then it's like, oh, it ends tomorrow, and it comes back spring 2021. But
honestly, it's better you didn't do it to yourself because it is fun, and I'm gonna miss the shit out of it, no doubt, in the spring. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
The subscription based model was a big fight in my household. For me to be able
it was like for a video game, no way. And I was like, please.
I had to make a deal with the devil. I had really, really shitty haircut. Like a scene kid, way down over the face, like cover my eyes type deal, like skater boy hair. And my dad hated it. And he was always trying to like, yo, I will give you $100 to cut your hair.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm 12. Like he was dead ass serious. Like I will give you 100. I was like, and then finally, like, he kept saying no to this like subscription based model when Vanilla WoW and Star Wars Galaxies first came out. And I was like, I'll let you decide how I get my haircut while I have the subscription. And that was a deal. So that's how I got in on that. And yeah, I haven't gone back to that look, and I'm pretty thankful.
It ended up being a win-win long term.
Definitely a win-win looking back. Yeah, no doubt. no doubt there. But yeah, and then on like the MMO side, like we have Ashes of Creation.
Yeah.
That's another big one coming up that I'm super excited. If you don't know much about it, Lazy Peon put out a really great video about a month and a half ago, maybe, about like everything you need to know about new MMO Ashes. And just like watching that video just has me so excited.
Really?
So that's a more traditional one where I see like, you know, that's the one where people lose their lives and just like go down into the basement and never come back out kind of deal. Like, yeah, we're talking like shit bucket MMO. So I'm excited for that.
That's cool.
But, yeah,
that's cool. I heard a few people talking about it. Once I started talking about like I was interested in New World, a bunch of people were like, check out some videos on Ashes of Creation. So,
yeah, that's gonna be good. And then you know, being a survival shooter, I'm holding out for Dead Matter, obviously.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yep. That's about it though. Like those are the looming games.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty like right now I'm checking out everything that comes out.
Yeah. Using this time wisely to bounce around, have fun.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I mean, like, you know, Tarkov becomes more consistent. I'd love to be more consistent playing it.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the beauty of it. Is like Tarkov is still has so much life left, hopefully, that it's like
that they will get there.
Yeah.
I think they'll get there. But yeah, I don't know. For the sake of daily enjoyment, it's just been nice to step back a little.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
For sure.
Yeah, very. You're not crazy.
Yeah, others feel it.
thank God. Because it's so funny. I was on the team podcast the other day, and I forget who said it. It might have been Pestily. Was like that he felt like the game is it's in one of the best states it's ever been in, and everybody was like, "Yeah, I would probably tend to agree." And I was like,
"Well, maybe you should sit in a marksman group meet one night."
I was like, I can't. I'm like, if I open up my mouth and say what I want to say, I'll have all 7,000 people in chat just shit on me.
There's magic though to not poisoning the well and just being like, yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's definitely advantages to that. So I understand. And honestly, like the team does seem to enjoy it overall the most, probably out of anyone that I watch. Especially Anton.
Yeah.
Like that kid can, I mean, Anton's special. Anton's very special. And yeah, I feel like he could just literally enjoy anything, no matter what, at any point in time. And he's perfect for it because it doesn't matter to him. You know, it's never been about like it being consistent. He doesn't care.
Fuck, no. Yeah. It's about the memes and
he can create amazing content even now. So yeah.
Yep.
Speaking of, I got to get you on Hot Guns, Markstrom. I don't know if you're familiar at all with Hot
Guns.
I am not familiar with Hot Guns.
So you have some catching up to do. It's fine. Like whatever you had planned, you know, this weekend with the girl, like just pull up my YouTube channel and watch Hot Guns. I'm sure she'll love it. It's amazingly mature, riveting content. No, it's a Tarkov game show. Think about like Top Gear, old BBC Top Gear, but done Tarkov. And I just brought it back. We just did season 2, dude, episode 1 with everybody on the team.
So great.
So all you'll have to do, if you will accept, all you'll have to do is build whatever gun you want, whatever Tarkov gun you want.
Sure.
And submit it to me, which is just send me a fucking screenshot, and I will put it through its paces, and it will get judged and held accountable for its sins.
Great idea. I like that.
Dude,
I will definitely do that.
I was literally rolling when you made Anton's the hatchet because you couldn't get back to you. And then the first 2 categories it won, I was laughing.
That was
no spoilers.
Dude, well, there's that.
Yeah, well, let's just say that Anton doesn't ever respond on Discord ever. So I'm like, I'm going to pick his submission for him. I get to pick, and it was a hatchet. And then the first 2 categories were weight and build costs. So I choose the categories separately. I have a big bin of categories that I just kind of choose, pick from. I had Nikita was a special guest judge.
Oh yeah.
I think for the next one, it's either going to be my cat or my grandmother that's going to be responsible for judging, scoring the guns.
Perfect.
That sounds amazing.
So you'll have to make sure you plan your builds accordingly if you want to try and meta that one out. One of the things I just wanted to like briefly touch on was, people always say like the meme about like don't ever meet your heroes kind of thing. Don't ever, like when you meet somebody, they're different. I remember you might have been the first streamer that I like was a fan of that then I met you IRL. And I just remember thinking like, first of all, you have like the weird like nervousness of like you have this one way sort of 2-way-ish like relationship with if you're a viewer to a streamer or streamer to a viewer. It's just like this weird thing. Then you meet in real life and you're like, is it going to translate to like and I just remember thinking after we had met the first 2 times that we met, and then I think the second time, did we meet two different Twitch cons? I can't remember. Yeah. So then the second one I think is when we had drinks at that bar when I think you had announced. I forget at the time, but anyway, I was hanging out with hanging out with
Woodsman, I think.
Oh, yep, that's it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. That night's a little blurry. But
a good one.
It was a good night, but I just wanted to like say how it was like what's the adjective I'm trying to say without being fucking weird? It was refreshing, encouraging, or whatever. To like when we met, I was just like, he's the fucking guy on the stream. He's exactly who you'd think he was. Like totally genuine, super down to earth. Like it wasn't like I'm this popular streamer guy, and you know, like it was. Which I mean, there's like some part of me that felt that and still feels that when I meet all sorts of people around, and I now see like when people were meeting me at TwitchCon, they were like, "Hey, dude, do you mind? Can we talk?" I'm like, bro, you being excited to talk to me, trust me, is far more cool for me than it is for you. Like, get over here. Somebody fucking recognize me. So I just wanted to say, like, thank you. And also, like, have you had experiences like that? What has it been like meeting other content creators and or fans for you?
Sure. Yeah. Hey, thank you. I don't know. I just try to be a slightly louder version of myself on stream. You know, I think that, you know, I'm not. The only difference between me on stream and off stream is that off stream, I'm not necessarily trying to entertain you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, but other than that, it's, I don't know. I think it's important to be the same because I think like if it's not, then people see that. So, but you know, it never works out well if you're playing like a character, unless like you're in it, like a Dr. D type deal.
Yeah, just forever.
Right. Jeez, I couldn't imagine. Every convention got to be dressed in that as well. But yeah, so, you know, I think I've always had really great experiences meeting people that I look up to, like other broadcasters that really inspired me. Most of them are now I consider friends, which is awesome, you know, and they've always been super responsive and supportive, and, you know, they swing through their subscribers, you know what I mean? And like, these were my people. You know what I mean? Like, this is who I watched. This is who I geeked out for. And yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it's more often that's the case.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that it is just, it's them. And at least on Twitch, at least on streaming. And you live stream, I feel like it's very difficult to hide who you are. You have these natural reactions. And you like it would be so exhausting trying to do anything other than be genuine. It'd be so exhausting. You couldn't do it enough to go anywhere with it if you didn't, right? So, but then you have YouTube where everything is a version, your best version always, because you literally edited the video yourself, you asshole. You know, like it's a completely different thing.
Yeah.
So like all the streamers that I've ever met have been phenomenal, really. And like no one's, you know, I think that, you know, we're all people. And like just like you said, I think that was very well put. It's more exciting to have like a dude come up that you know is a fan than it is for the fan to be meeting the streamer. I definitely think that's the case like 99.9% of the time. And
I'm sure there's a threshold where like if you're Jennifer Lawrence, it's probably like kind of a pain in the ass to go grocery shopping, right? But like
absolutely,
there's a threshold, but I know I'm not even remotely close to 1% of that yet. So please come and see. Like, if you recognize me, say hi, you know, like, fuck.
Dude, like, this is the only place where people know and respect and understand fully what we do is a convention.
Yeah.
Right. Like, this is the one space that we are in where we're surrounded by people who like get it. And if you, it's like, it's such a different contrasting experience than it is to like sit with like my fiance's family or her like work friends and explain what I do. You know what I mean? It's such a different thing. And you know, so it's something that everybody looks forward to, and that's just like a part of the process. That being said, the other way around, like me meeting fans has been nothing short of amazing. Pretty much every convention now we host with the help of Voodoo Ranger, which is a sponsor. They hook it up with this like massive party with drinks and food, and we're able to host this event for like a single night where everyone who is a fan of one of the marksmen can come and meet and enjoy themselves and have a good time and be around good people. And that's just like, I'll be honest, like I know this is like one of the most like selfish things that you can say, but man, that's been one of the biggest bummers of 2020 is not being able to have that, because that's like such incredible fuel for me to go back to stream with, and to just be like, it reinvigorates me every time. Like it always puts me on this. Okay, it is so tangible who these people are. Like, we're gonna crank it up a notch. We're cranking, and every single time I do, and it's great, and it just changes the content to an extent in a bettering way. And not having that this year has been really hard. But man, you know, it's minimal in the grand scheme of things.
Have you had anybody outside of a con recognize you? Because someone in chat just asked, and it's happened to me once, and it was right when like the COVID thing was going on. I called into Best Buy because you needed to buy something at Best Buy. You'd call them, and then they would like walk it out to you to the car because they weren't letting people in. And dude like rolls up and he's like, Veritas? And I was like, in my car with my like license plate at like the Best Buy, like my local Best Buy. I'm like, thanks, man. I'm just like, do I have to, you know? And of course I gave him my credit card and he's like, be right back. He walks in my car. I'm like, oh shit. There's like a 42% chance I banned him from my stream. So it was really... Yep. It was really a fucking kind of a coin flip.
What would you have done if the tone of that voice was Veritas? Like if you knew he knew and you were just like, skirt, like I don't need this thing anymore.
You know what? All the people that are pieces of shit in Twitch chat, they're not the types of people I think that would they would interact with me IRL and either think that I was actually an asshole in real life or would have the balls to be that much of a piece of shit in person. Yeah. So yeah, I feel like it's unlikely. Most people,
yeah, for sure.
It's the same reason why when I play Valorant, everybody that recognizes my name in Valorant, which these days is like 1 per game, which still blows my mind. Everybody's fucking cool. Even on the other team, everybody's fucking cool. And it's like, because I get to hear your voice and you're on my team, you're not just some like drive-by comment, you know, that could be like, oh, this guy sucks. It's always been like, dude, huge fan. Or I'm like, fuck yeah, man. Thank you. It's the reason why I'd rather have someone stream snipe me than change my name and not get recognized and like make friends in the game, you know? Yeah. So
absolutely. Yeah, I rock Markstrom and everything. The only thing that I don't is Counter-Strike. That's a different so, yeah, that one gets a name change.
Really? But, I've never played.
Yeah. It's a great game. It's a great game. You know, I've always, and for the same reasons that I mentioned earlier, it's consistent and it is the definition of high skill ceiling to the moon, and that you'll never reach. No one will ever reach, but constantly evolving and just 100%. Like when you fuck up, it's on you, and you know it. You really, it grinds on you. But it's, I mean, I've been playing CS since I was like 8, so
that's crazy.
My local Best Buy guy knows me as well.
Really?
Yeah. My local Best Buy guy knew me, and then I had a tech on the phone once, and I had to give them my LLC name. It's obviously Markstrom TV, and they're like, "Oh shit!" I was like, "Oh, what's up?" But
that was okay. I also need your social and your address. And
like, great. So like, my address is on this account. Like,
oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah. So,
yeah, I'm hoping. I really hope that as we move into 2021, like TwitchCon, like I know that's up in the air, nothing's been decided. I know that, you know, with the world events, that's hard stuff. But I think like to just go from the perspective of what you talked about, like of a community of people that gets it. Like when you said that resonated, I just had the conversation with my dad that I play video games for a living now. Like, I lost my job due to COVID. It was perfect timing to like, let's give this a try.
That's got to be harder than like coming out.
Dude, I like...
In 2020, that's got to be like, he's a fucking gamer. Like,
dude,
oh, no.
It was crazy. So like, and it was like, all right, let's talk. Now he received it so well. It was like, he was like, this is amazing. Like, but it was
because he probably saw the Ninja article 6 months ago or whatever. Yeah. He's like, I heard about that guy. I know. But there's that rich guy.
But even him receiving it really well, even like him being super excited, it was a 2-hour conversation of like, what does that mean? Like, what, you know what I mean? So like when you said that, when you were like, man, it's just like one of the beauties about it. It's just like you walk into that room and everybody gets it. That's crazy. Like that's super exciting. And we all feel the like the mutual, like we're this like weird, you know, redhead stepchild part of the internet, but we love it. We love what we do. We love it. You know what I mean? And of course, Twitch is blowing up and this is becoming more and more popular, but there's still that camaraderie around, like we all get it. We you know, we all.
Congratulations on making the jump, man. That's awesome.
Thank you so much.
I mean, obviously not losing your job, but
yeah. The meme that
have timing work out. Like I know that can work out 100%.
Yeah.
So
thank you.
The best.
Yeah, it was interesting because your story is very similar. It's just like this was just going better than I expected, and then other things in life, just like the timing, like, you know, 2 weeks prior we were having conversations of like maybe this could become a thing, 2021, 2022, and then in 1 week we found out my wife was pregnant and I lost my job, and I was like,
double congratulations,
let's go. And so it's been a blast. But I've never got to go to a TwitchCon or anything ever. And like I was talking to Veritas, and Veritas was like, you have got to come. Like, let's make it happen. And
make it a priority.
And then
whenever it happens, make it a priority. It's really important. And for a million reasons. But yeah, I mean, you also have to, I'm sure you're appreciating being able to create content and not have a full-time job to worry about.
Oh, yes. Oh, 100%, dude.
It's an awesome feeling.
It's been incredible. It's been incredible.
That's cool. That's awesome.
It's been really, really fun. So, but yeah, I definitely want to make that a part of my experience, is being able to have that as a viewer and be able to go and experience TwitchCon and experience that community of people that get it. But then also as somebody who, you know, interacts with people all the time, I would love to meet some of these. So yeah, it's cool hearing you guys talk about it. I really, really hope that there's something we can do in 2021, because I want to do it. I want to be a part of it.
Fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed.
For sure.
Yeah, I think it's probably time for us.
Yeah.
We all got places to be, spaceships to disassemble.
Dude, I'm so excited to see how that goes. I'm gonna go play Tarkov, so this is gonna be great.
I'm gonna speed run some more, I think is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go see if I can beat my 1 minute in 18. Which is the only, it's a world record because it's the only record, because I'm the only one that's ever done it. And so fuck you all.
You're a literal world champ right now. Take that
Feels
in.
good to be on top, man.
Take that in. Feels
until
good.
It gets added to the leaderboards of speedrun.com, and then 14 people instantly beat me by a minute, and then it's like, oh, okay, well, it looks like I gotta find a new game to play.
Yep.
That's why you gotta compete against yourself, man. It's the only thing we're competing against. That's it. So
but yeah, Markstrom, again, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you so much for the conversation.
My pleasure, man. Yeah, thank you guys for having me. It's great.
Absolutely. Anybody in chat, anybody listening, please go check him out. We're going to have his links all in the YouTube vid, the show notes. If it is your first time here, this is a show that we do every week. So the video version of this will be on my YouTube channel on Monday. The audio will be on Spotify the next week as well. And we'll be back here next week doing another episode. So thank you again to Markstrom. Thank you all for hanging out, and we will definitely see y'all on the next one.
Peace.